Right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to TMA Friday Night Live, as always, with the Pidge. And I'm joined by Deano, who is a young man, and also, so we're proudly, very kindly as well, to announce that we've got Sky Sports presenter, Sky Sports News presenter, one of the faces of Sky Sports News, Tom White. Good evening, Tom. Thank you ever so much once again for coming on, sharing a bit of time with us.
Good evening. My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much, Tom. Right, let's get your score predictions through for tomorrow's midday kickoff at the Vic against Nottingham Forest. Obviously, another tricky tie. Obviously, we had the professional performance against Wickham midweek. Let's see if we can kick on and get another win and further push our promotion hopes into the top two. Right, okay. So, yeah, Tom, I'll start with you. Obviously, what do you think the overall thing from what you've observed? Obviously, you watch much football. You got your finger on the pulse with the transfer deadline day and all those sort of things with Sky Sports. What have you made out of Watford's season so far, and where do you think we could actually go?
Well, I definitely think you can. I definitely think you can go up in the top two. Certainly, your squad is good enough that if you don't, I think you'd be favourites for the playoffs just because your squad is so big. I've always thought the Watford squad is too big, right? And that can lead to players being a little bit unhappy and a lack of game time, or if the manager keeps chopping and changing, it means there's a lack of consistency in the starting lineup. But in terms of the quality, no doubt about it, your squad is, I'd say your squad is lower Premier League quality. And at the moment, you're in the Championship. And in terms of chance of going up, I think you've got a really good chance. You are too inconsistent, but how many clubs in the EFL full stop are consistent? With the amount of games in the EFL, it's very hard to find a consistent team until, funnily enough, you get to this stage of the season, and then the players, the teams that end up going up or who are struggling and end up staying up are the ones who finally find that consistency. And that might be time for you to do that now.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you made actually a good point there, and I'll get Dino to come straight in with this in a minute as well. You made a good point that, a lot of us have looked at our squad in certain areas we thought we were a little bit thin. But to be honest, if you're looking at if everyone is fit, then to be honest, in terms of numbers, you probably are right. We have actually got quite a decent squad in terms of the numbers. It was debatable on the quality in certain parts of the season. I think more to do with the sort of the bite and the the fight and the commitment that a lot of times we didn't see, but we're starting to really come to the fore with our head coach. I'd like to say, I'll get Dino to ask a couple of questions in a minute, but what do you reckon this managerial merry-go-round we've had before? Obviously, we're a little bit more settled, but from the outside looking in, what do you make of it?
From the outside looking in, it really messes with my OCD the way the Watford owners run it. Okay, now you can't really argue with it too much because they change their managers all the time, right? And usually it works. For a long time, it was working, so no one could argue. I'm not necessarily saying it's been working as well recently, where it hasn't been because of last season's relegation, and this season it didn't start so well, did it? Under it was Ivic, wasn't it? Vladimir Ivic, who I didn't know very much about at all. And I was just looking at the amount of managers you've had since Sean. I remember when Sean Dyche left, and he was on set with me, and the takeover must have happened. Did the takeover happen, and they sacked him for Zola?
I think he did. Yeah, you were right. Yeah.
And I was looking at it, I was thinking, it wasn't long ago that it was Zola. And then I was looking at the list. I've got Beppe Sannino, Oscar Garcia. I know that one, that was a bit different. Billy McKinley didn't last very long. Jokanovic, we all know that story, how he got you up but didn't sign the new contract to stay. Kiki Sanchez Flores in the first instance was doing so well. Huge shock when he changed. Was never that keen on Walter Mazzari, if I'm honest. And I always thought Marco Silva was hugely overrated. Grazia, hit and miss. And I thought you were right to. I thought it was harsh for him to go, but I know that the run had been really bad. Kiki Sanchez Flores came back and wasn't given the time. And to be honest with you, I know Hayden Mullins personally, absolutely love him. He actually knows what he's doing. I don't think he'll be ever given the proper chance. Pearson, can't believe you got rid of him when you did.
Exactly.
And then Illich wasn't working. But in fairness, Cisco Munoz is, your third. As I'm saying, you can get into the top two, so I can't complain about that one too much. But it just kills me the amount of managerial changes you make. All right, if you're constantly going down the leagues like my club Sunderland are, right? Yeah. Sometimes things are going so badly, you have to make the change. Watford seem to often make the change when you're doing well. And you're all probably used to it. But to me, it really bothers me. It's hard to actually keep up. In my job, it's hard to keep up with who your manager is.
It certainly keeps you busy anyway. We're half keeping you in the job, aren't we, Tom?
I'm honestly, when Vladimir Ivic went, I was like, what? He can't have done that. Can't be right. And I was looking at it, he was barely there. Weren't doing that badly. I know that when you go down, sometimes you want to just storm the league. I was like, God, he's gone already. And I know, were you not happy with the football as well? Was he?
I'll let you answer that, Dino.
It weren't so well. It was the football, really. Defensively, we were superb, but if we went a goal down, it got back to where it was like the Flores era, where we just didn't look like scoring a goal, or even, getting one goal was enough to get two. So every time we went 1-0 down, to be honest, it looked like and felt like we were going to lose. So I'm afraid he had to go. It's very harsh on him, but I think it was the right decision, I hate to say.
But like I said, I didn't really know that much about him. And see, when it comes to getting a solid defence, first thing I want in a manager is to get a solid defence. So I like that. If he couldn't find a way of breaking teams down, that's a problem that he should have been working on in the training ground. I'm sure he was trying to. But then when he's appointed in August and goes into, well, in fact, the season didn't start till October, did it?
No, true.
So when the season starts in October and you go in December, was he given enough time on the training ground to actually fix the problem? Because if he's got the hardest thing right, which is keeping the clean sheets and getting the solid defence, and we know that we know that he had the players going forward to create and to score. Could he have worked a bit better on the training ground? I don't know how well the players got on with him or anything like that. But the biggest point is with the change of managers, for a long time it really was working for you, and this one it might work too. But if you go up, does Cisco Munoz stay? Or do you change him to the Premier League?
We've heard that he's actually, at the moment, he's not actually qualified to go go up with us, and he's only on contract until the end of the season. To be honest, if he gets his qualifications and he gets us promoted, I think he should be able to have a chance of, at least trying to keep us up there, or at least given 3 or 4 months of the season to see what he can really do up there, because he's earned his right if he gets us up there. So that's another thing. Do you think the Premier League and the Championship, the gap is growing every season with the money? Do you think it's to that point now where you really have to spend about 150 million to really give yourself half a chance of staying in that division?
I don't actually, because Sheffield United last season went up and they finished 8th or something. They were top half. And all right, they're struggling this season, but it's this summer that they've spent the money. The summer they went up, they didn't spend the money and did well. True. Look at Burnley in the past. Burnley have never spent money. Now, they went up with Sean Dyche, went straight back down, kept him, went back up, and they've never even been in a relegation battle since they went back up. They barely spent anything. I remember the season when Newcastle finished 10th under Rafa Benitez about 3 seasons ago. And everyone was saying, Rafa Benitez, he's manager of the year. His net spend's only something like 10 million, and they've come 10th in the Premier League. That's amazing for a team newly promoted. Burnley's net spend was in the black. They'd made money and finished, I think they finished 6th or 7th and made money.
Okay.
So I didn't know where the argument for Benitez had come when Dyche had done that. And that was still just building without spending money from going up from the Championship. And actually, that Newcastle one's another good example that they finished 10th with a small net spend as well, having come up from the Championship, although their squad had still been expensively put together in the first place. But I don't think you necessarily have to go and spend £100 million, and we know that Fulham spent £100 million and went down.
True, that's a good point. Dino, I know Tom's got to go very, very shortly. So you got anything, Dino, just before he goes?
Basically, how Sunderland doing this year, Tom? How are they doing?
It's hard work being a Sunderland fan, believe me. All right. Like I say, we change our manager a lot because we just keep sliding down and down and down the leagues. It's hard. But at the moment, we're up into the playoff places in League One now, which for Sunderland should be a failure. But we were doing so badly that, in fact, for the past 2 seasons, we've been doing so badly that if we do end up in the playoffs, it'll feel like quite an achievement. We are still with the manager Lee Johnson, and we've got a new owner now, and it's clear that the aim is to go up in the top 2 this season. I personally don't think we'll do it, which on the face of it, for Sunderland in League One, just accepting the playoffs is unacceptable. But at this stage, I think that's probably what we'd have to do. What we'd have to accept.
Yeah, true. Right. Just before you go, Tom, what's your prediction for Watford Forest tomorrow?
Nottingham Forest are so unpredictable, right? But like I said, this is the stage of the season where if you can start showing consistency, right, like Norwich are doing, then that is what will get you to your targets, right? So it's now time for Watford to do that. So I do think you'll win tomorrow. Score prediction. What have you been since Munoz's come in? What has your defence still been solid, or is it
pretty much
now
carried it on? Yeah, pretty much carried it on from where we left off. Yeah.
Go on then. I'll give you the most satisfying scoreline you can get of 2-0.
Good. I'll settle for that. Definitely. Right. Okay. So, Tom, thank you very, very much. Love to the family. Stay safe. Good luck, Sunderland, for the rest of the season. And good luck at Sky Sports, and all the best, fella.
Good luck. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for this. And I hope you do well tomorrow, and I hope you go up.
Yeah. Cheers, Tom. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Tom.
Cheers, lads.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So that's Tom White. So, Tom, thank you ever so much. I'll message him later and just say thank you for popping on for 10 minutes. So that's absolutely amazing. That's Tom White, Sky Sports News, one of the faces of Sky Sports News. So, right, guys and girls, get your predictions through. Tom said 2-0. Dino, what do you reckon is going to happen tomorrow at midday kickoff? Do you reckon it's going to be a 2-0, or you reckon it could be even more or less? Forest might nick something. What do you reckon?
I reckon they're going to nick a 1-1 draw. You know what I'm going to say, because the 2 players that are there, and it don't always come back to bite you in the arse. It's not a curse, but you feel like it is, because I'm just for one. I think quite a few people, I reckon we let 2 good players go there. I think Gardner, because we couldn't give him enough game time. I reckon we've missed something there. I reckon we should have given him. And Glenn Murray definitely didn't get even close to a fair crack in our squad. I don't know if it was to do with fitness, but when you hear people calling him, it's their opinion, a donkey and all this lot, it's like, well, he's only had 10 minutes. He's knocking on a bit. He needs half hour to get even into the game. So I do fear for them, you know. Yeah. When he signed him, you and me said, you know, I know he's old, but in the Championship, that's an excellent signing, really. He still knows where the goal is. He's a proven goal scorer.
I'll still stand by that.
Like Tom said. Yeah. And like Tom said, they got some good players. I know they got Knockhart, the cheating git, but he's still a threat, isn't he?
Yeah, true.
You add them 3 players to it, that, you know, that's danger, that is. If we're not on course and they keep putting them balls in the Murray, you only need one chance. And, you know, it's a dangerous game tomorrow. We got to be on it again, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. Right, guys. It's coming up a Facebook user just above your heads in the description. There's actually a link that you can that you can actually put your name up. So every time you post on TaylorMade Army Forum, it actually comes up with your name. But we'll read them out anyway. Kev Wicks, he's put 1-1. Ray Cook, fantastic podcast, Ray. Just before we went on. Tackling the key issues of the day. No, literally, he's tackling the key issues, and a couple of very good talking points for his show as well. So if you ever get to watch that, certainly every Friday just before the podcast at 7 till 8 on Ray's personal profile, we will be posting up the video link every Friday as well. But he does it during the week as also, so we'll get him to plug a few more of his topical shows. He does a bit of Watford chat, football chat as well on that show for an hour or two. So we've got him on tomorrow for the fan verdict, and also we've got the rather glamorous. Her husband don't agree, Craig, but the glamorous Katie Ellicott is on giving her opinion also alongside Ray and yourselves who will be watching in for the goings on in the midday kickoff against Nottingham Forest. So that'll be 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So I look forward to hearing everyone's man of the matches and what their opinions on what transpired at the Vic tomorrow night. Ray said hi, hope you're all well. Yeah, cheers, Ray. Like I said, cheers for the podcast, mate. It was brilliant. Got John Fenton, Christophe Philpott, the French internationals watching. Becky Charman. We've got Mark Payne, Ross Morgan, Becky Clark's on as well. Evening, Becky. So she's on, and I hope Danny is watching also. Right, okay. There's a question here, mate. I'll let you answer. He said, will Carlos Sanchez make a difference this season? Bearing in mind, he said he's fit and he's raring to go. Signing for backup, decent backup. But what's your opinion on this new signing?
Well, every signing helps, don't it? It's more competition to midfield. We've cleverly injured, which I was, like every Watford fan, hoping it wasn't when he went down, weren't it? Yeah. We're all concerned. It's like, oh, God, he's been such a key figure in that centre mid. It'd be like losing Will Hughes, Yeah, he's a good ad. I can't remember much about him. There's mixed reactions about him, but you're going to get that from any fan about any player they dislike or he wasn't any good. But like you said, Pidge, with Gardner, sometimes these players just need to move on, find another club, and they fit in, don't they? So it could happen with Sanchez. I can't see him starting tomorrow. I can't remember. It's going to have to be Gosling, isn't it? And, I don't know, maybe Ben Wilmot in the centre. Yeah, because I think Chalobah got a 2-game ban, didn't he? So he won't be able to play this one, I think, if that's right.
No. Would you actually risk putting Hungbo in that midfield as well? Because he looked pretty decent. I don't know personally, I wouldn't actually start him, but would you actually look at putting him in, him or Wilmot? If you had that choice, would you put Hungbo or Wilmot? Bearing in mind how Wilmot got on last game in centre midfield. I rate him more as a centre back, but he can play as a midfielder. But the early signs when he did come on weren't great, were they?
No. God, that's a good question, actually. I would probably go Wilmot just for he's got a bit more experience for such a big game. I've got nothing against that lad. He come on, he looked exciting, didn't he? He looked hungry. He looks a good future player. But for tomorrow, it'd have to be, it'd probably be, Hughes, Gosling and Wilmot tomorrow, I reckon. And the other thing is, does Gray start ahead of Pedro tomorrow?
I would. Because, and I'll say this, because he scored the 2 goals on thing, and he also was named in Team of the Week. Look, straight away, I'm not kissing his ass whatsoever, but I'm giving him the credit he deserves for that game alone. I've got my opinion on him before, but on that game alone, he should be starting tomorrow purely on merit. If he had played badly, 110% all day long, I'd put Pedro back in. But, I mean, look, what an option. If it doesn't work out, say, half-time or, say, 50 minutes, you whack on Pedro, possibly comes up with a goal, and then he starts next game. And then that way, I would come on record after on the fan verdict and say, right, Pedro starts next game. But on the basis of him scoring the 2 goals, he's the match winner. I think he deserves to start tomorrow, Gray.
Yeah. Every Watford fan's got their opinion. Don't get me wrong. I've been critical of him, same as you, Pidge. We give him, because we're so frustrated. We all know what he can do. It just annoyed me with some Watford fans. I say it's their opinion. They want to slag him off. We all slag players off, but you made a good point of it, Pidge. I was thinking of it, but you said it. Is where they said, "Oh, my such and such has scored this," but like you said, he's got to make that decision to be in that spot. Anyone could, like you said, if it was Pedro Dini, it'd be marvellous. Gray's got, like, I think you said it, he's got to have that savvy to be in the right position. And he was smart enough and, like you said, used his experience to be on side and tap it in. Like you said, you've got to give Gray credit because he was in the...
Yeah, I mean...
you got to. That's his...
Yeah, I had to swallow my pride and say,
experience.
look, I had to actually say that and, gritted teeth and say, look, at the end of the day, we've been slaughtered for this. Everyone's got absolutely right to do that because that's why this podcast is designed for. It's for people's opinion. If they agree with our opinion or not, if the whole team played badly, we analyse it on that game and that game alone, and also we look at the positives. If they play really well, we analyse the game on that merit once again, give them the credit they're due, but also look at the things we can improve on. Same with players. If the player plays badly for that particular game, we will analyse it on that particular game, but not lose sight on how well they've been playing previous. So we say, right, on this game alone, they were poor, but give them their due. They've had better games than that. So they've won us more games than they lost. Same with flips the other way around with Gray. Me and you, like you've said as well, we've both had our opinions. I've been scathing in my criticism of him all through the season. I put my hands up for that. But on that game alone, if you judge it purely on that game and move everything out of the way just for the sake of analysing that game, he was absolutely brilliant on that game. Just on that game. I mean, he's been useless the rest of the season. Don't get me wrong. He's been absolutely woeful. But on that game, I thought he was excellent. And if anyone gave him man of the match, I would not argue. And he was in team of the week. I think he deserved it. But if he has a stinker against Forest, then I will analyse it like I do with every other player. And I will say that was not good enough. So a lot of people are saying as well, mate, that consistency now with Gray is the key. If he can come up now and pop up like Pedro's doing, the odd goal here and there, put in the performances, run his arse off. If he don't score a goal, he doesn't. But if he puts in the shift, then people will not necessarily forget what's happened in the past, but they will accept, okay, at least he's putting in a shift. We don't have to love him, you don't have to give him praise all the time, but you have to give him respect if he does it. If, and I'm like to say, it's if he puts in those consistent performances from now on.
Yeah, it's just he was chasing everything down. He worked hard, and people go, "No, it's against bottom of the league, Wickham." Yeah, well, Norwich struggled to beat them. They only beat them 2-0. So, and Norwich are top of the bloody league. So, I take no notice of the league title and the championship. I know the table don't lie, but there is no guaranteed 3 points in this division. And so, what he scored 2, it's great for his confidence. I wish he went and got. Everyone said he wanted to get him the hat-trick. I hoping he would, and his movement looked superb, and he actually looked happy playing up front with Sarr. And like we've said many times, the striker's only as good as the balls he's getting. And he was in the right position, and Sarr and the other players were giving him the good balls, and he put them away. It's the same with any striker. He gets good options and he scores.
I'll give you the credit, actually, mate, because like I say, we don't want to high five each other every 5 minutes. But, I came up with that. He's got to get in the right positions because you came up with a good point beforehand that says, look, at the end of the day, the striker, like you've just said, the striker's only good as the delivery put aside him. It's all right getting in those positions. If the ball's not coming there, it's not going to make a difference, and vice versa. Sarr could be whipping those balls behind the back line. If the player is not clever enough to get in front of there to make it easy, I'm sorry, the goals were made easy because Gray was there to make them easy. It was that thing. He could have stood on the edge of the 18-yard box. It wouldn't have been a goal. He's got to make that. Any striker who'd scored that, if it was Pedro, I'll be saying exactly the same. He made the goal easy. It looked easy because he had the foresight to get in that position in the first place, just as he's paid to do, to be fair, to get in that position and score. So if he carries on doing that, everyone's a winner. He can get, like I said on Sunday, he gets his move if he wants to leave. We get promoted. He gets his goals. The value goes up, and then we get a decent deal all round. So everyone wins at the end of the day if Grace starts scoring because we've got another goal scorer we've been looking for. So right, okay, Darren Westall. Oh God, sorry, mate. Go on, carry on.
I've got to mention another player because someone said Goslin's injured, so I would chuck in Zinchenko because I know it's against bottom league, but that was his first start. He looked decent for me. He always wanted to go forward. His touch looked good. I've been a bit critical of him, but he hasn't had a starting game, so again, it's hard to get into it. But I think he'd have to be chucked in there with Hughes and Wilmot then as Goslin's injured because I thought he had a decent game. He was always involved, wasn't he? Always positive, direct. So I think he'd have to start again. I think it'd be harsh to drop him.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, mate. I think myself included have forgotten about Zinchenko, and he didn't have a bad performance. Like you said, I don't buy this thing. Oh, it's the bottom of the league because Wickham have beaten some decent sides this season. Okay, they haven't won many games, but they have. They gave us some trouble. You like to say with Norwich. Any team on their day could beat anyone if they can just apply themselves. And that's why the Championship is so unforgiving. And like I say, if Tom was still on, he'll probably agree that, when Sunderland were in this division, no one cared for their reputation. They were there for a scalp and they treated them as a scalp. And they're doing that with us as well. Yeah, just Watford Way, James Batchelor from the Watford Way. Just remember, get onto his YouTube channel, like, share and subscribe. Incidentally, get onto TaylorMade Army TV, like, share and subscribe. Let's hit the 200 likes button. You want to. So get on this and subscribe to that. So there'll be game previews, obviously our live chats and game after game and Sunday night analysis and fan feedback from you guys, but also get onto the Watford Way. So James and his, shall we say, his cronies doing his the previews and the reviews as well. So get on there, like, share, subscribe. Right. Also, a big shout out to Hannah Clark at TMA Match Reports. Bless her. She does it on her own. Fantastic match reports, ladies and gentlemen. I've tried to add as many people as we can. We will be sharing up the link once again. If you get on there straight after, probably about an hour after every game, there'll be a match report up there with every single game. And she also will share the links to the previews of the game. She does it for an external site as well. So that's the very talented Hannah Clark, who runs TMA Match Reports and Reviews. So match report every game. So look out for that. We will, like I say, we will try and also share it and put as many people over to that page as possible. So if you can get the TMA Match Reports and show much love for Hannah Clark and their match reviews. Right. Okay. So right, tomorrow 12:30 kickoff, or pretty much midday, shall we say. The referee is Jonathan Moss. Assistants are Mark Perry, Daniel Robertson. Yeah, it's bad pronunciation. We've got fourth official Dean Whitestone. Obviously a poor start to the season for Forest. Chris Shooton's obviously taken over from Lambushi. Like I say, bad pronunciation again. They almost made the playoffs last season. They did. Was it Chris Shooton's side? Yeah, lost at home to Harpenden Town Reserves in their last match, but having pressed on the road in 2021, winning 4 away games already, one more than they managed in 21 games in 21 away games in 2020. So there is it's got positives in terms of the Forest outlook. Watford are only lost, shall we say, one of their last 9 meetings with Forest in all competitions. We've won 4 and drawn 4, a 4-2 defeat in January 2014. So, yeah, so not really much to actually look upon in terms of the stats. You can't really compare that, can we? So it says, obviously, Klebs is out. He'll be targeting a return after the international break. Success is available for selection, so that's another positive. So it's another, or shall we say, another option. Mark Navarro is back in full training after hamstring issue. Obviously, Dan Gosling hamstring, Lazar hamstring as well. Ben Foster the finger, Cabs with his knee. Troy Deeney's out. Obviously, Dele Bashira with his ACL. Obviously, they're the ones still available. Pedro should be back, regardless starting or not starting. He'll be either on the bench or in the starting lineup. So he's back after his suspension. So that's also good. David Beerman's on. So evening, David. So Isco Munoz, I do actually quote him as well. He says we need to keep learning and adapting every day, otherwise other teams will get to know about us. We need different tactics and different timings with our passing and movement. Every day we can give more and be better. We are good. We are in a good direction. I mean, I think really that's sort of more reference to the Bournemouth game more than anything. I know we can take away all the cheating twattery that we got from them, but the key thing with that, and I think we learned a little bit on midweek as well against Wickham, that we must adapt a plan B against certain sides, and it will come against Chris Hughton's side as well, because Chris Hughton he's known for organisation, especially in the Championship, and they will do a lot to frustrate us. They won't be obviously like cheating gets like Bournemouth though, Dino, but he will be very organised. They will look to frustrate us, especially tactically. So I think with Isco, he's really pinpointing the fact that we need a plan B. We need to try and change, shall we say, different tactics and different timings. So really sort of mix it up. If this direct style, which is good on the eye, and it is getting us results. To be fair, we're playing some good football.
But
it doesn't work. We need another direction. And I know you were saying this to me on private message about, we need to find a way through these defences, because if we don't, this one-way style of football that we've got, which is good on the eye, is not going to really work every game, because especially the teams fighting relegation are going to look to nullify us and put 11 men behind the ball.
Yeah, and again, it's another point every fan's going to make. Every time we have a chance to go above Brentford, we slip up, don't we? At the moment, I think someone put they haven't got a game this week, so really we do need to win to go 3 points clear of them. I know Swansea have got games in hand, but it's all Brentford game off tomorrow. There you go. So it makes we, like you said, plan B. We have got to have a plan B. He's got to change the formation. I don't know whether to do 3-5-2 or something. Put another midfielder in there to probably try and get control of the game. But again, it's really emotions, really, isn't it? That's what lost it against Bournemouth. We lost our heads, didn't we? And we can't do that. We can't afford to get frustrated. You rarely see Man City do it. I know we're not Man City, but they play tippy-tappy, and sometimes they win in the 89th minute. Watford have got to get that mindset, because in the Championship, we near enough are Man City for the team we've got, not money-wise, but like you said, Paul, teams are going to look to scalp us, Bournemouth and Norwich, because we're you could say the three big boys in the Championship, because we are, aren't we? We're the teams everyone wants to beat. But they've got to change their mindset. But we do forget we got a lot of youngsters in there that have got a lot to learn, haven't they? Pedro, Sarr, Semmer's not exactly that old, is he? They've got a lot to learn. And yeah, we just got to stop our emotions. But you are right. He's got to find another formation, Isco, because like I said, loads of teams are going to frustrate us. We're not always going to score in the first half. And then I don't think panic kicks in, but like you said, frustration kicks in. And then it's the hoofball, which don't work anymore. And Deeney's not on anyway to control it. And the teams love the hoofball because they deal with it, don't they? Sarr's not the strongest. He needs it on the floor. He's not going to win a header in the air, Sarr, is he? But on the floor, he's dynamite. So, yeah, they've got to definitely have a plan B, like you said. I don't know what it is, but they've got to find one.
Yeah, got to find one quick. But, at the moment, got to praise Isco, been good football, scoring goals, not conceding many as well. So we've got with good balance. It's like you said, it's literally something like the last, say, half an hour or the second half. If we need to change it up, just have another, little something in the back pocket, just to sort of change it up, like you said. Don't go hoofball necessarily, but just mix it up a little bit, bit. But saying that, the way we're playing, and we have to shoot off in a minute, mate. But the way we're playing, it's interchangeable anyway, with the wingers. So that adds a bit of confusion as well, left and right, right and left as well. So.
Yeah, like you've mentioned before, I like you said, you like that, and I like that. Where Sarr and Semmer are just swapped. I'm not having much, like you've said, I'm not having much luck with him. Let's see how I get on with the other one. And like you said, that does work a lot. And why not do that? You could do that with the strikers if you wanted to. They probably do. They pretty much swap in everywhere. So yeah, you're right there. I do like that. it puzzles the defenders, don't it? I go, oh God, I've got Sar over here now instead of Semo or Pedro. It's like, oh Christ, give me a break. But yeah, no, that's a good one. I do like that.
Cool, no, definitely right. Big shout out to Big John Davies and Cliff Whedon that have come on as well. Callie's on live right now on Ian Callie or Nigel Callan. If you haven't added him already, do add him. Get on there. Fantastic finish, or shall we say, finish to the week and start of the weekend with DJ Callie, TMA's superstar DJ Callie. We'll be sharing up the link in a minute once we go off air. So just once again, big shout out to Tom White, Sky Sports News presenter. Thank you ever so much for coming on. That was a fantastic. And like I say, once again, Dino, young man, I'll see you Sunday, mate. So or probably in the personal messenger tomorrow during the game. Massive thank you to everyone who's watching as well. You guys make this podcast happen and make it enjoyable. So thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night once again at 7:00 for the fan verdicts. Your opinion, your podcast, your opinion. Get your views through about the goings on tomorrow for the midday kickoff at home at the Vic at the Mecca against Nottingham Forest. We've got myself, the podcast king, that's Sir Ray, and also Katie Ellicott making her debut on the podcast. So as always, you've been beautiful. We've been TMA. It's good night from the young man.
It's good night from Pidge.
See you later, guys.